Hello, one more. So, previous one I spoke about the black hole, the mini black hole dynamics. I'm wearing a blue, okay? And I watched a few videos yesterday about the chakras, okay? And I also got to know about the Vishuddha chakra has a blue color. Okay, this is kind of like darker than that, but kind of like indigo kind. But it's considered that blue is also representing for speaking, yeah, voice, truth, and Vishuddha is also kind of like pure, yeah. Like blue liquid, you put blue, robin blue, and then the clothes become kind of bluish white, but it's a clean white is the idea. Vishuddha, yeah. Um, We think of chakras in terms of bodily composition. Muladhara, the perineum, Swadhisthana, um, above the region of the bladder, yeah. Um, um, Manipura, above the region of solar plexus. Anahata, above the region of heart. Um, Vishuddha, the region of throat. Um, I remember something, Ajna, about the region of your third eye, apparently. And then you have Sahasrara. Yeah. I covered seven. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Now, that's a convenient system. It really works because it helps to remember the chakras in terms of the human body. And there are references, co-reference to it. But the thing is, we sometimes get caught in one or the other. And it's also called dharana in Yoga Shastras, where you ascribe or assume certain positions, certain ways of thinking, and then you're kind of stuck with this is it, given that there is nothing other than that. And that gives a certain limitation in and of itself. Now, if we consider that our whole body has several cells, if we consider that our human body is like, we are like a fertilized egg, only you can't see the kind of having an if you've seen these sumo wrestlers, yeah, they like this big body. There are this sumo wrestling bodysuits. In some parties, they bring forth and go boing. Yeah. So we kind of like this, oh, whole and complete, but we have a difficulty seeing ourselves that way because our body took this shape, the human body shape, from an ovum in the mother's body, over time forming into the human body shape we have. But we are basically an ovum. Yeah, with many cells in embryo, fertilized egg. From there, the cells moved into different shapes and we became the human body shape. Yeah. So a cell has a nucleus and these different organelles. We have organs, body parts, organs. They have organelles. Yeah, it's kind of like ovum if you see that idea. A cell, so a body is made up of several kinds of cells. And just like that ovum became the whole human body, and now we have chakras. Every cell have their own spaces for the chakras, so to speak. Chakras is basically going round, cyclical processes. Heart beats in cyclical processes. Protein generation from nucleus to cell membrane, there's a cyclical process to it, according to cell feedback. So different parts of our body have their own chakras, cyclical processes. And then there is how clean or how good is it? Is it well enough, optimum enough, and not going on hyper, then you'd have thyroid concerns, for example. Yeah, metabolism gone up, down, or several concerns, and that's also because of hormones. So different processes needs to complement each other. So the chakras are not having to go through, oh, yeah, chakra viewers. And then you have difficult spots, and then you go, yeah, and then focusing on those different chakras and turning them around is not really going to help the matter because that's like you have a thread with different kinds of knots. Yeah, and these are all kinds of different kinds of knots. It's one thread of life, kind of like you see Vedas as a weave of threads. And if it's all kind of a little knot, you pull one end, you could probably make the other stuff more complicated. So working on one chakra is not necessarily going to help the others because they're all related complementary parts. Because endocrine system is related with respiratory system, is related with nervous system, is related with the integumentary system, with like at least 12 body processes, organ systems. And we don't want to get knotted. Yeah. Could get into trouble without knowing how the each chakra is related with the other. When you don't know that, you could get a little knotted, a little difficult position. And you'll be wondering, why is this happening to me? Because you're doing the meditation really, really well. But this is two fingers. You have so many other fingers. You're focusing on, oh my goodness, my life should work. Yeah, because yogi said this works. Yeah. And you're all intellectually don't know emotional stuff, don't know physical relationships, because you're focusing on two fingers, five fingers, two hands. They have different complementary functions. So not knowing the human body gets us into trouble. Yeah. Now, having said that about the chakras, you said this is complex, but I got to say what is not obviously so known because I saw the video and I was thinking people don't know this. The thing is, while that cell ovum became this big human body, and each of us, our own big human bodies, we are in a system with different other human bodies. Each formed from an ovum become this complex organism. And we are all on the same planet Earth. So there is a collective chakra system. It's also called stages of development, evolutionary cycles, civilizational becomings. So some of us, so the fabric of time space has been healing since some time. We couldn't even think about the basics. We used to have warring tribes because each of us came from our own mother's womb, from our own family systems, and may or may not have been able to look at the other because the other one may be your enemy. Yeah. And then you have to see, oh, we are all on the same planet, or killing each other is not going to work. Yeah, because that's not going to be very sustainable. So we kind of found ways to not kill each other, or maybe over time to live with each other with the differences. And we have countries, local regions, states, countries, continents, and we still have military across our country's boundaries, yeah, and continents, and um, each continent, I don't know if you're thinking in terms of continent or countries, looking at who's going to conquer space, yeah. So we have our own differences while we are all keeping it together. I'm watching you, yeah. So different radar system watching you. So we have humanity across boundaries concerns on the same planet. I mean, looking for signs of life in other planets. Yeah. If there is an advanced civilization out there, they'd be like, look at these. Yeah. They want to find other life while they're pointing guns at each other. Oh, good luck with finding one. You know. So if that's so, we got to behave yourself, kind of like, yeah, like Secret Santa. So there's always a regular assessment of the situation. Has the civilization improved? Are they still, looking for the next opportunity to get at each other's throats? That's also called Vishuddha. You know, can you live with each other? Can you be clear enough between your head and shoulders so that we are communicating without you looking for the next opportunity to get to another's throat? It's also called a bottleneck, civilizational bottleneck. So somebody's got to speak it, so I'm speaking it. Yeah. I'm speaking the unspeakable, unnamed, unnameable because we have our head and shoulder concerns or head and we don't call the head as part of the body. We call it brain and we call this as a body. Well, it's all part of the same body. And we have mind and body concerns and dichotomies. Yeah. Intellect and neurotypical and neurodivergent. Like somebody who thinks from the body is having a problem. Yeah, they are not typically because neurotypicals think from the head. Yeah, or some such things. So all kinds of stuff. And we have this slender neck keeping the head and shoulder together. And everybody have the slender neck. It's a narrow, sweet spot. Yeah. What comes from here comes through the mouth, and it could be Visha or it could be, yeah, Amruta. Yeah. Sweet, aapke muh mein ghee shakkar. So what comes out also depends on what's happening here between the valley of between the head and shoulders. Yeah, so somebody's got to speak it. So it's more like who's going to bell the cat? Common admission test. Who's going to admit that there's a problem and nobody's quite talking? So I'm belling the cat. Common admission test. So, and I got to keep speaking because it's going to be, it's got a test of time. I've been saying this in some time. So if you haven't noticed, just go through my other videos on this channel or on this podcast or where you're listening to um, this video from, and you will see some history of some of the things that I've been saying. But having said that, now I'm in the stage of making courses because I've been saying so many layers of stuff. So I'm leading the pack. Yeah, the one who found it is the one who can then show the way. Yeah? And I have a person-centric model of the universe. So I'm like all Vishuddha, kind of. I have my other chakras too, so just letting you know. Now, the blue, the Vishuddha, is also important in terms of, I've been calling it as a sweet spot. So I was watching a video where they were talking about 5 levels of leadership. And the fifth one is said to be where you're watching out for others' success. Yeah. And their success then reflects upon your success because other success becomes your success, is a measure of your success because that's what you're functioning by. I've tried that. Yeah. And then I discovered we have birth concerns, birth rate concerns, aging populations, different kinds of challenges. And in that video, which I got to know about, it's saying the Vishuddha chakra is related with the Swadhisthana. And Swadhisthana is related with fertility, kind of, yeah, water related, emergence, sexuality. And I have mentioned in a previous video about Swati, Rashmi and Swati. Rashmi being light, Swati being metaphysics. And my growth is also at a point in time by intelligent design where life is restarting, has been restarting the whole scheme of things and then coming to a better state. So the fabric of time space has been healing since some time. And then my enterprise has come into existence over time. As we meet the requirements for what solutions we're bringing forth. So accordingly is our growth. And I came to, I met my significant other, and there was this idea of, let's just say fertility, kind of MITI, kind of. In marriage ceremonies, they have this little toe-ring that women, South Indian women at least wear, North Indian too. And that's around our neck. Yeah, we have like 2 silver ring around our neck. Now I was thinking, this is some kind of interesting. And like Neelakanta Gale mein atka. You know. So we happen to be doing work while we have been facing birth rate concerns and aging population and I've been saying human rehabilitation program. And I met my partner about 2020, before that 2018, 2019. Yeah. And life has never been the same. Yeah. We came to further details of the Sri Chakra, the Sri Yantra, and then enlivening life in the multiverse. So the human rehabilitation program and several details from there. And the fabric of time space since then has been healing since some time to the point that I'm speaking now I'm thinking more to the women folk. I think my niche would be for clarity, more in terms of women folk, but I'm thinking more in terms of mothers, because mothers are dealing stuff a lot of people don't know, and they're not speaking. So, for example, they need to be able to buy a sari for themselves if they want to, and not be dependent on somebody else, because they're doing work, and it's not about salary, but it's about their work's worth, and not be able to depend on. They want to buy something, they should be able to buy it. So I'm standing by that right now. And then fertility, when we say, when the mother's space is not as happy as it needs to be, our being and becoming, the kids who grow, people who look at life from different faces, face stress because mothers are stressed in their own ways. Also because of this appreciated, not appreciated, what they're doing is seen, not seen, and a lot of it is not seen. So that is also tensing the fabric of time space. Birth rates, aging population, different kinds of economic challenges. Our human life value is getting affected in the fabric of time space, facing that tension, not working. It's called the uterus, yeah? The bed of where mankind develops from, uterus. Or there's also ectopic pregnancy, but there's also, it's a human body material. But the bed of life, so to speak, because there is an embedding by the fertilized, huh? Embedding, placenta, and then the connection. But the placenta doesn't just hang around in no space. It's embedding in mother's space and then growing from there, from the material. So what is not spoken is a whole lot of stuff. So right now, Vishuddha, Kalimet Cup, bottleneck, um, several things not being able to be seen. So this is where, this is the kind of leadership I'm right now in, where it's not number five, but four. Yeah, where my presence then more like a catalyst